All right, so as winter approaches and the holiday season marches on, there's going to be a lot of people that use and rely on commercial airliners for their primary source of transportation. And this is the reality for many people that go flying. You know, it's very expensive, time-consuming, confusing, just a general hassle. But it doesn't have to be. You could always take the option and look into investing and getting your pilot's license. Not all pilots that fly are in any sort of career. According to the FAA, there are only out of the 595,000 certified pilots, only 212 of them are just commercial pilots, fly at their own, will and go do whatever they want. But there are some misconceptions about getting your pilot's license, and a few of them are, first one, the math is very hard, it's expensive, and airplanes are really dangerous. Some of the things that I found when I was Googling the internet and reasons behind people not wanting to get their pilot's license. But from going through the aviation program here at Heston and being around aviation since I was a little kid, I know that these are false. So we're going to start with the math side of it. So this is the most mathy part of my aviation notes that I went through this semester, and it's a formula. That's all, and it translates over here in a little bit of algebra, but just finding the x. According to various people that I tallied, I scanned some aviation forums all over the internet and some group chats, and most pilots recorded that they only had, basic high school math like geometry and algebra 2, and the ones that went on to college went ahead and took college algebra. So there's a lot of people that don't have that high of math like trig, calc, and statistics and all that. And with modern technology, somebody made a fun little app to make it all easy. This is called ForeFlight. This is a application that we use quite frequently in the aviation program. So it takes the math part out of it. It does your weight and balance calculations and the figuring of distances and all that good stuff. So now we've done the math. So we're going to look to the more expense side of getting your pilot's license. So this is kind of more the local places. Heston College is the first one on where you can get a pilot's license in Kansas. Another one that would be included in this would be K-State, but I didn't include it since I already had a college up there. Heston College, it does seem a little pricey, but Heston College is one of the only places that you can get it using financial student aid, like a college. All these other places would be more out of pocket in a payment plan. And this is recording the expenses of a one-way flight out of every single airline that flies out of ICT, which is Wichita. And 3 of them wouldn't fly to Denver on a one-way ticket on December 12th, which is when I decided to make the date I chose to figure all this. And compared to renting your own airplane, it's slightly cheaper. Roughly the same cost, but definitely way more enjoyable to fly yourself, and you're going to get there way quicker without no connections, layovers, and all that. And then we're going to talk about why people think airplanes are dangerous. But first, from an article from the US Today, there was a debate between car safety versus plane safety, and it came out that in 2008, from records from the NTSB, cars killed more than 1.1 million people, whereas there were only 20 fatalities from aircraft accidents. And then there's many ways that the dangers are being combated, like 100-hour inspections and routine maintenance to ensure the long life of aircraft. And from a section of Cessna's aircraft safety website, it's something that can't be neglected. You could lose your airworthiness of the airplane, and then you wouldn't be able to fly at all. So with all this, what's next? You could always do some research, YouTube and Google, you know, if you want to look into it and get your interest sparked, I guess, and see what other things you can do with your aviation license. And Heston actually, their aviation program, like most places, does discovery flights. And for prospective students, you can actually request a discovery flight. It's kind of like your first intro flight to aviation. You get to like take control of the airplane if you want to. So it's a really something cool that we do here. And in the words of Socrates, man must rise above the earth to stop the to the top of the atmosphere and beyond, for only thus he will fully understand the world he lives.